Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed the portion of Pokemon Chronicles that could fit in the franchise and still be passable if uneven. Here's where things start going off the rails. Let's open up Weird No Angels and talk about it. Essentially, the main plot of this episode is Team Rocket being mistaken with superhero group Team Righteous, which is honestly a less plausible idea than a clone artist passing themselves off as a doctor, lawyer, and pilot. Especially since the inciting incident has them wrecking a giant robot by simply falling on it like Dorothy's house falling on the Wicked Witch of the East. Sweet Mother Arceus, what have I got myself into? What's worse, they try to tell the villagers they got the wrong people, but they won't have it, especially not someone named Kate. They start talking about Connor Murphy, I'm out. I also note, once again, the animation looks noticeably worse, more off-model than a couple episodes of the main TV series. Some lines and scenes imply this episode takes place between You Never Can Talo and In the Nick of Time chronologically, and we'll come back to this later. Of course, Team Rocket doesn't exactly make the situation much easier when they wreck another robot, with attempted villainy being mistaken for heroism. Not even the robot being armed with watering cans and farm implements can break the facade, though I at least won't accuse anyone here about being an immoral pleasure seeker. Miss you, Alex. At night, they're given dinner and a show, which briefly details all their supposed exploits, all while making Princess Space all across the Spider-Verse. You can see the eye holes in the Meowth costume in this scene, which indicates the town needs a good stage art account center more than need Team Righteous. Yet, despite the village being just below a place where you'd see the Mystery Machine search for Minor 49er, decided to play along the charade for now. This may not be as bad as Training Days, but it's still not exactly what I would have had in mind if I had asked what I want from a spin-off. We'll talk more about that another time. Even more, Team Rocket wants to make the town the new base operation so the Rubes can't tell an own film strip from a newsreel. Typical. They start by retooling the robots they broke into one of their own. James wonders what it would be like to be a real hero like Kate believes, and once again wonder what might happen in Generation 10. Anyway, they approach the mansion on top of the hill, where they're greeted by another robot at the front door. It's monitored the Jet Scrander from Mazinger Z, anime I'd rather be watching right now. Instead of another weapon, the robot literally rolls out the welcome wagon with smaller robots bearing flower bouquets. Team Rocket starts attacking the mecha after crushing the bouquets. It's unfitting fight music as well. Chill out, guys, you're not making Terminator here. They follow the robot inside where introduces Professor Brown, his reclusive inventor who wanted to build robotic aids for the town, without telling them their purpose leaving his lab. Basically, he's a less interesting version of Clement or Sophocles, both of whom I prefer. He also comes off like a less common version of Dr. Slump, Dr. Light, or Dr. Ochani Mizu from Astro Boy. I mean, the episode claims he's shy, but that doesn't really justify things at all. He could have easily marketed his inventions, even playing to the townie's tenuous grip on reality by casting himself as a P.T. Burnham type. Heck, even Team Rocket's self-admitted Pokemon Tech washouts were able to figure out what this professor can't by simply asking him to be more involved in giving the town his robots. Even just writing a note on one of them or giving them invitations to his place would be sufficient. This also begs a lot of questions about how Brown survived for this long. However, their plan involves getting him into the charade rather than simply having him talk to the townsfolk he sought to help. Before that can happen, the village is invaded by a flock of Talo that one of the farmers mistakenly calls them Talos and more than once. There's no S at the end, already plural. Be like calling McGuire, Garfield, and Holland Spider-Mans. Brown finally decides to take control of his own fate, attaching a jetpack to the mecha to drive off the Talo and activating a hidden device in his pen. I reiterate how bad it is he didn't think to open with this, as he's clearly like the Bruce Wayne Tony Stark of this village. Naturally, Professor Brown's recognized for his work and agrees to help build the town with his inventions. Team Rocket then leaves the village, which is briefly considering information before they're sent blasting off by an extra press the launch button. Also, this ties into what I said about blowing up the whole turn in the main series narrative. We have a full-on cameo from the main cast closing us out this time. To think people got up in arms about the Battle of Wallace in Journeys. We're no angels, certainly no holy ruler of a story, of a more deludedly dire and devilish dirge. I didn't even tell you half the optimal animations episode, but the story is a true fatal flaw, this one. As I stated before, there's much point in dedicating spin-off space to what barely passes as filler for the main show. Likewise, your tolerances episodes are likely going to be tied to your tolerance of Team Rocket in this era. As someone who's been open to replacing them with antagonists from each generation of games, seeing them deep into their villain decay stage doesn't really do it for me. Granted, I'm not too thrilled about how the villagers Professor Brown came off either, as it would be like making a Digimon reboot with memorable characters that people love to this day are replaced with counterparts that have the personality of boiled celery. We'll talk more another time, as I waited for that whole series to come online. Post-review follow-up. Most annoying characters of the episode go to Team Rocket for attempting to con the village into thinking they're a superhero team when they won't even pass a Morbius sweep. This honorable mention goes to the villagers collectively for believing this con, and Professor Brown in particular gets the Researcher's useless task for not openly offering his robots for legitimate work first. The next Chronicles review will be on Showdown in the Oak Corral, the last non-Christmas episode that I found somewhat decent, if flawed as a story. That'll be all for now, and I will see you soon.